Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. And well, game one of the Pacers Bucks series is over, and well, the Pacers learned a lot. I will say that this I'm not gonna say I expected them to win game one, because I didn't. I knew the Bucks had more experience than we did, but I didn't expect us to play that bad in the first half. I mean, it was a disaster from defense to rebounding to just like you could see the inexperience. They couldn't buy a fucking 3-pointer. I mean, it just, the whole thing all around was just really not good. Obviously Pascal Siakam played very well, but Pascal Siakam has experience playing in the playoffs. He knows what to expect. Siakam and Miles Turner. Even Miles Turner's game wasn't great. I mean, Siakam scored 36 points, had 14 rebounds, shot 15 of 25 from the field. In the entire first half, Siakam was like the only guy scoring points. I mean, by halftime, Damian Lillard had just as many points as the entire Pacers team. Damian Lillard obviously had 35 points in the first half. When Lillard has it going like that, I mean, there's really nothing you can do. I mean, there was 3-point shots that Andrew Nembhard could have brushed his fucking teeth on, and he still wouldn't have made the fucking shot. Miles shot 5 of 17 from the field. TJ McConnell, 5 of 13. Obi Toppin, 2 of 6. Ben Shepherd, 1 of 5. I mean, like, it wasn't Aaron Nesmith, 2 of 9. I mean, as a team, we got run out of the fucking gym. I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, we got run out of the fucking gym. We shot 40% from the field, 20% from 3. The Bucks shot 47% from the field, 38% from 3. You know, if you look at the fouls, I mean, the Bucks got 22 personal fouls going their way. We got 16. It wasn't good. Second chance points, we got, you know, we did better on second chance points than they did, but we got more rebounds, shockingly, but it just felt like the rebounds were very, I don't know, it felt like we weren't, we were out rebounding them, but it flat out didn't feel like it, you know? So this was a combination of things. The inexperience definitely showed. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton's throwing passes all over the fucking floor. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton looked bad in this game. I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, Halliburton looked fucking terrible. I know his stat line wasn't very good, but the Bucks did what I said they were going to do. You know, if you can take Tyrese Halliburton out of it, you have a very good chance of beating the Pacers. And sure enough, that's what they did. I mean, Halliburton, I think, had 3 or 4 turnovers. The 3-point shot was not falling today. The defensive miscommunications were glaring. I mean, glaring. I mean, there was, like, when it came to defending the screen and roll and the screen and pop, I mean, our switch defense was so bad that it's like, we were just, like, in the first half and even in the second half, like, all they had to do was, like, run a screen, and it's like, we had no idea what to do on defense. Like, there's plenty of times where they'll run a switch with Tyrese Halliburton, like, on a screen and roll, and it'll be either Miles playing drop coverage or Tyrese Halliburton playing up, and then they'll pass the ball around a couple times, and all of a sudden, like, Tyrese Halliburton's lost on fucking defense. Like, I don't criticize Tyrese Halliburton a lot, but it got to a point in that, like, towards the end of that third, start of that fourth, where Rick Carlisle couldn't even play Tyrese Halliburton because of how bad he was playing on defense. I mean, guys are getting wide open 3-point shots, and literally there was a couple of them where I'm watching Tyrese Halliburton just fucking stare at the guy while he shoots threes. You know, this team, I know everybody likes to talk about how we've been like the you know, a top 10 defense in the second half of the regular season since the All-Star break, but I'm just going to call it what it is, dog. Like, this team, when it comes to defense, it's like we can't play defense, so we foul people, and it just, Aaron Nesmith does it, Miles does it. Granted, this game felt kind of lopsided foul call wise. I'm just going to call it what it is. It felt like if we even, breathed on anyone on the Milwaukee Bucks. They were going to the fucking free throw line, but if we get whacked on the wrist and shit, nothing fucking happens. So I don't know if it's just the idea of we're a young team, we're inexperienced, and they're just like, hey, welcome to the playoffs, motherfuckers. Like that's kind of what this felt like, but it was bad, dude. I mean, when you look at this team and you look at the inexperience, I mean, Ben Shepherd, who else? Jalen Smith, Obi Toppin, Tyrese Halliburton, I think even Aaron Nesmith. It's just there's so much inexperience on this team when it comes to the playoffs that it showed. It's very obvious they did not know what to expect. Now, granted, they got a taste today. They got their ass handed to them, but this was a wake-up call. I'm going to call it what it is. This was a wake-up call for the Indiana Pacers. It's hey, if you want to win in the playoffs, you kind of got to play defense. You kind of have to, switch on fucking screens and actually fucking switch. This isn't the regular season anymore. Granted, Orlando kind of went through the same thing with yesterday's game against Cleveland. They have a lot of young guys on their team who've never been to the playoffs. But for the Pacers, it was just we couldn't get threes to fall. There was a lot of nerves. I'm going to call it a lot of really bad passes, a lot of unnecessary turnovers. I understand that Milwaukee's kind of a rival team, but this team came out and played this game today, and it looked like they hadn't played basketball in a week. I understand they had a week off, but it looked like they didn't even fucking practice. Whereas, this team wasn't ready for this. I'm just going to call it what it is. We came out and we flat out were not ready. Whereas the Bucks came out, they looked determined. They locked down on defense. I mean, Brook Lopez fucking posterized Aaron Nesmith or something. I never thought I'd see Brook Lopez get a poster dunk in his life, but it happened. There was just, Jalen Smith all the way down the roster, man. Andrew Nemhard, there's just so many guys on our roster with zero playoff experience. And this was a punch in the mouth. I'm going to call it what it is, man. This game was a punch in the mouth for the Indiana Pacers, and hopefully they come out next game with a little bit of a better game plan. Siakam did his thing, man. I can't blame Pascal Siakam for any of this, because Pascal Siakam did what he was supposed to do. I mean, you can't ask him for any more than 36 and 14. I mean, I don't know what else you want him to do, but he needs some help. And unfortunately, if we lose this series this way, if we're not even competitive, if we get swept, there's a chance that Siakam doesn't come back. That's how bad this first game was. Granted, we're starting out here, so the only place you can go is up. You know what I'm saying? But this was bad. Chris Middleton looked like vintage Kobe Bryant on some of those fucking post fadeaways. But you know what? When Damian Lillard has it going like that, it's very hard to beat the Bucks. But I'm just going to call it what it is. The Bucks were the more prepared team. They were more prepared for this than we were. It felt kind of like we came into this game. Obviously, everybody's been saying we were the favorites all week. And trust me, believe me, the Bucks heard that. You know what I'm saying? The Bucks heard that, they're favorited. Okay, and Damian Lillard specifically was like, I'm going to take that personally. So, Damian Lillard didn't even take a fucking shot in the second half, it felt like. He came out and scored 35 in the first half, and I was like, if he keeps doing this in the second half, we're not gonna win this game. This game was really over by halftime. I'm gonna call it what it is. This is a game that felt like it was over by halftime, and I didn't even want to watch it anymore after halftime. Then we got it to within 12 points, and then it just got away from us again. So I don't know, man. I really don't know what to think about this, but nerves were obviously there. The defense was not great. The interior, I'm going to be honest, man. I expect the interior defense to be a lot better. There was times where guys were just walking to the basket. So the Pacers learned a lot. Obviously they got jitters. It was very obvious. They were nervous, inexperienced, all of that. But either way, you still got to come out and play basketball. So I don't know what their plan's going to be for the next game, but going 0-1 to start this series when you don't know when and if Giannis is going to come back. If Giannis played in this game, I mean, granted, I don't know what the deal would have been. Maybe it's different, but this was bad. This was very... this was very obviously not regular season basketball. I mean, this was physical. That's the thing I think as well, is like, I don't think these guys were expecting this level of physicality. Siakam obviously was. Siakam's won a chip before. But guys like Tyrese Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Obi Toppin, Jalen Smith, Ben Shepherd, all these guys, it's like they weren't expecting this level of physicality, it looked like. But I don't know. We'll have to see what the next game brings, but this one wasn't good. It was not a good showing, and if they plan to play like this for the rest of the playoffs, there's or at least for the rest of this series, there's a chance we could get swept. So at least they got a taste. At least they know what to expect in game 2. But they need to have a better first half than they did. I understand that this team has a trend of, either being up in the first half and then giving up the lead in the second half, or being down in the first half and getting the lead in the second half. But this is playoff basketball, okay? You can't do that. You can't do that in the playoffs. You have to set a mark and fucking stick to it. And I just want to say, I want Tyrese Halliburton to be more aggressive. It felt like he was very passive in this game. I understand we win more games when he puts up like 20 and 12 and plays like a playmaker instead of a scorer, but this was a game where I was like, bro, is Halliburton ever going to actually try to take the game over? And he never did. And that was something I was expecting. That I think is what worried me the most. It's like, it felt like this game got to a point where it got so out of hand that Rick didn't even play Tyrese Halliburton because of how bad he is on defense. And that's concerning as a Pacers fan. It's concerning that, like, your star player, the coach doesn't even want to play because you're down by 20, and you can't play your star player because he absolutely blows on defense. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the series, but out of everybody I was most disappointed in on this team, it was Tyrese Halliburton. We needed him to show up in this game, and he didn't. And I hope that doesn't become a trend. But you know what? I'm going to give him a pass because it's their first playoff game ever for some of these guys, for most of these guys. But the next game needs to at least be more competitive than this one was. It's one thing if you lose a game by a couple points. We got run out of the fucking gym today. That's what it is. We got run out of the fucking gym. I'm just going to call it what it is. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.